I am overwhelmed that so many of you took the time out to get here and fought the traffic. Rabbi, thank you for having me here, and Nitzan, thank you for your pressure as well. There you are. So, opportunities for growth from adversity and overcoming challenges of living with Parkinson's disease. The name enough, disease, is enough to kind of put one off. Couldn't they just have called it Parkinson's illness or something? Anyway, a disease it is. And I need to preface my comments by saying that I'm not trying to appear as an expert on handling adversity, nor to appear overconfident in my approach to life. I'm hoping that by sharing the information I have and the experiences I've gone through will give you a better idea of what Parkinson's disease is. Lord knows there are many of you in the audience who can do the same as I'm doing because you have endured or are enduring your own challenges. I also need to confess that as I wrote this and put this together, I realized how much more I relied on God as the years have progressed. When I spoke to Nitzan and the rabbi a few months ago, and I suggested let's do this on Tu B'Shvat, I had no idea then of the powerful messages that tied into our plans as human beings for growth and survival. In many respects, we are like a tree. In God's forest, we certainly are His trees. We settle somewhere, we put down roots, we grow and we multiply. Like a tree, we establish a great canopy and even grow shoots that start growth of additional trees. Eventually, the oldest trees wither away. What is also of significance is the Torah reading of the Spa Shabbos. When Moses arrived at the Red Sea, the crowd threw up their hands in dismay. How were they ever going to get through this? And the Egyptian army was clearly intent and pretty close to stopping them and recapturing them. It was only through the leap of faith that one man had to believe that God would show him the way. He brought him this far. He would protect them and lead them safely. That he saved everyone. By Nachshon ben Aminadav jumping into the sea, showing the act of faith, encouraging others to follow, all were saved. It was at that moment when hopelessness was countered by faith that the impossible happened. And the sea opened up to become dry land. The most formidable obstacle dissolved into nothing. Without a struggle, just with faith. At some times in our own lives we have taken that leap of faith. It is all we have left. It does not help to ask why or why me. There are no answers. We need to accept the hand we are dealt, thank God for the attention we get from Him, and have faith. If one looks at the map, the most direct route from Egypt to Israel is via the desert. The Red Sea is very far away from that. Just as we do not know what God's plans are for us, nor did the Hebrews who came out of Egypt. We moved along quite confidently, assuring ourselves that we're on the right track, we know what we're doing. On various occasions during the last 50 years, it seems strange to say that, my parents used to say that, I've had the privilege of addressing groups of people, and this has always been a pleasure. This is only the second time in 14 years of having Parkinson's that I'm getting a glimpse into my personal life. It's much easier to talk about a bride and a groom than it is to talk about oneself. I appreciate the fact that you've had a long day. I'll do my best to cover the topic in a reasonable time, and if required, we'll have a question and answer session afterwards. Who I am is not due to me alone. People, family, and friends like you have made me who and what I am. To all of you, thank you for your kindness, support, encouragement, and guidance. Parkinson's does not only affect the patient, but has an impact on everyone around me. My wife Sherry, my children, their spouses, and extended families have all been wonderful supporters. No one more so than Sherry. I've always viewed life as walking along a stepping stone. You know the garden path with those little stepping stones that go nowhere? They kind of lead to infinity, maybe to a dream. And each step we take is like a leap of faith. We do not know what is waiting. Only when we look back do we see and understand the significance of the path that we chose. I spent 45 years in South Africa. I enjoyed a wonderful childhood and lifestyle. Our family owned a farm supply store. And as a child, I was always there, playing in the warehouse. And later, working there during high school and college years. Little did I know that the inhalation of the fine dust from fertilizers and chemicals would cause me to be addressing such an august group as yourselves tonight. My working life was supplying farmers with some of their inputs. I would often be talking to the farmer while he was mixing a spray tank with chemicals or on the side of the field while tractors were going up and down spraying chemicals, or when an aircraft was flying around doing aerial spraying. We didn't even give a consideration to the drift of where that poison was going to. We were probably discussing what kind of scotch we're going to be drinking and when we're going to be doing a barbecue. My first trip to America was in 1974. And on that trip I knew that I wanted to come and live here. 3 offers fell by the wayside until finally I was given an offer by a company in San Diego, and we came to live here in 1996. Around November of 2001, I found that when walking, my right foot below the ankle started dragging. I also found that my right finger would continue moving on the mouse, even though I'd completed the task of the letter that I wanted to write. And I visited my family practitioner and told him that I thought I had Parkinson's. He said he thought that I should see a psychiatrist. He was sure I didn't have it. And he referred me to a neurologist. Within a few minutes of walking to the neurologist consulting rooms, he confirmed that I had Parkinson's. Some of the telltale signs are an expressionless or blank face. You have no expression, like you work for the FBI. I told him I taught myself to be expressionless because sometimes I negotiated with trade unions and I didn't want them to read what I was thinking, happy, sad, whatever. He wasn't too impressed, he didn't buy it. Soft voice. Your voice tends to go quieter because your muscles in your larynx and your larynx itself gets affected. So you actually need to have speech therapy, or you need to sing, or you need to exercise your larynx, your voice. I told him I taught myself to talk quietly because in restaurants, if I was having a meeting, I hated talking so loud that the people next door to me knew exactly what was going on. He didn't believe me either. Your gait changes. You take small steps. You move slower. Your posture goes to hell. You can see my neck looks like it's stretching like that. And it happens because you can't concentrate on standing up straight, walking, doing too many things at once. It becomes a muddle in the brain. The most common thing is the tremor, either in your hand or in your foot. And other symptoms, and these are not all, probably some others, is a loss of taste or smell, and an overwhelming feeling of weariness, of really being tired. And from about the age of 35, there were days when I was exhausted, and I would say to my doctors, I don't know what's wrong. About 2:30, it feels like I've got off a plane from New York. I absolutely feel jet lagged. They took me to hospital one night, wired me up, took my blood pressure. They said, there's nothing wrong with you, you're fine, just, you're under stress. I believe that was the start of this. Because by the time you're diagnosed with Parkinson's, you've had it for a long, long time. And it's too late to do anything about it. There are about 60,000 people in San Diego who have got Parkinson's, and about 1 million people in America. This number is estimated to double by the year 2030. There's no test you can take to warn out of the presence of it, or that it's going to develop. There's some genetic work going on now, and I think they've managed to identify a marker or something that might give them an idea that, or warn you that you might have the possibility of having Parkinson's. Doctors think that the illness is caused by inhalation of fumes from chemicals, use of hallucinating drugs, or maybe genetically you've inherited something. So I think mine came from being so good to my customers on the farms. I never used LSD, heroin, or any of those things. And as I say, by the time you've got it, it's too late. And what causes all of this is that there's a liquid in the brain called dopamine, and the dopamine disappears. Dopamine is used as the transfer system for the command from the brain to your nerves, to your muscles, to do what's got to be done. So, people who don't have that problem, you want to get up from your chair now, you don't think about it, you get up and you move. Somebody who's off, in other words, the medication has stopped working and he's been sitting for too long, wants to get up and he can't move. It's like your foot is cemented to the ground. And no matter what you want to do, it ain't going anywhere. So it's happening a little bit more than it used to 5 years ago. But it still hasn't reached a stage where I cannot go somewhere and do something. So now I'll demonstrate to you in a little while maybe what I do to get around that. At the time that I was diagnosed, I really didn't reveal the situation to anybody except my immediate family. And they were really sworn to secrecy. I didn't want word to get out that would have negatively affected myself, my family, and my business. And unfortunately, when one has an ailment, people tend to place one in a category of whatever they deem that you to be. And I was actually not yet ready to be reclassified, nor am I ready now. I've still got too much to do. But my life since February of 2002 has been different. I started taking medication. Has anybody taken like a Benadryl, any antihistamine? Well, I don't know if that tires you out when you take it. Well, the tablets that we are given is like double the strength of the Benadryl. So it makes you hugely tired. When I said to the doctor, I'm exhausted, he said, just go to sleep. Whenever you want to, just have a rest. I said, you're nuts. I could be in a business lunch and I taught myself I can sleep, I feel tired, boom, I fall asleep at the table. Can't do that. So I believe that the brain controls, the mind controls your body. You can do almost anything that you want to do, just do it in faith and belief in it. So I decided I was not going to succumb to that weariness. And so I pushed myself, and for almost a year, there were times when I was almost sleepwalking, but I never lay down and never went to sleep. And I beat the pills, in the sense that I got the benefit from them, but I didn't go to sleep. And that was a really good thing. What I did do is, if I felt I couldn't drive, I did hand my keys to Sherry. And because I taught her to drive a lot long ago, She's a pretty good driver. And a little bit risky at times. Lucky she doesn't drink. Anyway, the doctors don't tell you much. They tell you, here's the tablets, there's the pills, do some exercise. Off you go. See you in 3 months. So a lot of what I've learned has been through self-teaching. The upsetting thing was that I discovered that protein and alcohol block the benefits of the medication. Can you believe that? I mean, I love steak, I love whiskey. Having herring without scotch, I mean, that's taken a big getting used to. And so I've through trial and error, I can have about a 4-ounce steak. So now when I go out for a business lunch and they want to have a big steak, I say, well, order a big steak, I just want a corner. And that works pretty well. I can have a scotch, about 2 milliliters, just to wet the glass. If I have more, it's like I have not had any medication for 6 months. Half a glass of wine may be good at a meal. And actually a vodka martini works, but not a full tot, just half. I haven't experimented with a full one. So life is not altogether terrible. In fact, as things hit you, you kind of adapt. We were made in a beautiful kind of a way. I also am very fortunate that I think I've had my allocation for life of scotch and steak. By the age of 50, I think I've had enough for a lifetime. So I'm not too sorry about that. So what's happened now is I have to remember to eat food that is good for the brain. I was quite excited because the brain is made up of cholesterol and water. And marrow bones have got a tremendous amount of cholesterol. So I thought, hey, this is a cool way I can have soup and marrow bones. Yeah, until the doctor said, no, it doesn't quite work like that. And nobody says to you, you need to exercise your brain. You need to feed your brain. The brain can be taught things. The brain can recover itself. It can rejuvenate itself. We aren't taught any of that. But the physical attributes we are taught of how to look after ourselves, our insides aren't that important because nobody really sees it. So now I eat like bird food, stuff that I used to sell for canaries, flaxseed, berries, any berry, they're great antioxidants. Red, blueberries, blackberries, any color, strawberries. I just don't eat an Aubrey. Exercise is really, exercise is really important. I was told that exercise is more important than taking medication. So I try to do as much as I can. I don't do enough, but I did some this morning, so I feel kind of good. And one can exercise the brain. You're not in the gym, but things like crossword puzzles, learning songs, dances, remembering names, all those are exercises that will stand you in good stead. When one gets ill, if you can call it ill, I don't think I look sick, but then people are protective of you. I can't tell you how many times people said, you can't do that. They won't do that. Don't find us. Don't carry that. Let me tell you something. You don't do that. And so, people who tell you no, stay away from them. Anybody who's got a challenge, and you can handle whatever you're doing, keep on doing it until you absolutely can't. You know you can't. The attitude you have is probably the most important thing with anything. Whether it's an illness, a project, an opportunity, with the right attitude you can almost achieve whatever you want to do. Just make sure you keep busy. I was considering buying a mirror in the house to have somebody to talk to during the day. But that didn't work, so I decided I better get out and see people. And you really need to communicate, you really need to talk to people and be involved. in a group or in a community or in a business or something. Singing is really good. It, as I say, exercises your larynx. It does a lot for me, singing music, because sometimes when I can't move, I sing in my head, or sometimes aloud, songs with a beat, like Waltzing Matilda, or When Johnny Comes Marching Home. So you get the beat of Waltzing Matilda, and you walk to that beat, and you hum it, and it keeps you going. So I was in a parking lot of Sherry the other day, walking along, and I was kind of getting that for my rhythm of walking. So I'm walking kind of like, and some dude in the parking lot says, "Oh man, you having a good day today, aren't you?" I said, "I'm sure." So it was too funny. But you know, you can't really care what people think as long as you can get moving. So that's one technique. The other technique I do, if for whatever reason I can't walk, is I confuse my brain. I'll do this and I'll spin around. And that gets me going again. So if you ever see me going where there's I'm doing that, but there's no, what's that door called? Revolving. There's no revolving door, but I'm revolving. It's because I'm tricking my brain into a different direction. And these are things you learn as you go along. And as I say, doctors don't really tell you these things. I work from home, so the whole day my sound system is working. I go into channels that show marching music, the Coldstream Guards, the band of the United States Army and military, and what else? And then I go through right through to the classics, Mozart, some individual singers, musicians that I like, and it just really has a great effect. Sherry's a dance teacher, and she's got CDs and tapes, and the other day I was doing the grade 1 that you teach 3 and 4-year-old little girls dancing. I want to tell you something, even if you try that, 15 minutes I give you, and it'll be a workout like you don't know. It looks simple. So those things are really important. I continue to try to work. I work from home. I have had to, in 2002, 3, 4, I had to sell businesses, 2 businesses that I had, and had to slow down totally. I've kept 3 customers in Japan, and I do some exports of golf course equipment. And it's not every day, every week, it's 3 or 4 times a year. And during the year, I help people find motor cars, and I keep busy in that way. And it's a program I can keep my own time and work as much or as little as I need to. So things that I really give it trouble is if I didn't take 14 pills a day, I wouldn't be able to stand here. 14 pills a day is 5,110 a year. Thank God for those, and thank God for the doctors who know what to give me. Walking through crowds, that's not easy. And taking small paces in a crowded area is even more difficult. So if you see me ever at a wedding, at a shul service, at a movie, and I'm not moving, when I don't come up to you, not because I've got something against you, it's just because moving in that environment is really not fun. And if I meet you for dinner and I say I want to have a table at the front of the restaurant, it's because if I'm at the back and the medication wears off, I might have to be carried out. I actually got a walker 3 days ago, standing against the wall, in case I need to use it. The funniest thing is, I hardly even used it, thank God, but I carry it walking out, so people look at me and say, "I'm the guy now." But it has been useful 2 or 3 times. I use a backpack because carrying something and trying to walk, it sometimes doesn't work. So my attaché case is retired. It's amazing that shoes, clothing, if it doesn't fit exactly, messes up one's tempo. Sitting for too long in one place is bad, bad news. So if you see me somewhere, everybody's sitting and I'm at the back walking up and down or disappearing, coming back, it's because I really can't sit. I had a problem going to South Africa. 14 hours or something from Johannesburg to Atlanta, where I couldn't even get out on the wing. I walked that whole plane up and down, but that was really, took me about 3 weeks to recover from that. I mentioned that in 1974 I decided that I want to come to America. I realize now that I did not select San Diego, it selected me. I also realized that Hashem brought me here because it is one of the best centers in the world for research and treatment for Parkinson's. My doctors have been incredible. I cannot thank them enough for what they've done and are still doing for me. I think I'm doing quite well considering that 14 years ago we really did not know what to expect. What I do recall, and I still declare, is that I have the illness. It doesn't have me. How I've grown in the last 14 years in spite of the difficulties. Unknown to me, sometime around 2004, my son Russell and an attorney friend, Pete Patente, started the Meyerowitz Foundation. This foundation raises funds for Parkinson's patients who need funds to help them with getting items needed to make life a little easier. It could be for rails to be installed in their home, a ride to the doctor, replacing a light bulb, a wheelchair, and more. I serve on the board of this foundation, and I'm thankful that I can do this. I need to tell you how Hashem had a hand in this foundation. I was looking for a student to help me when I owned a gourmet food supply business. A young guy arrived in the name of Pete, and Pete started to work for me for the summer. He met Russell, and after 2 summers, they went off to college. But Russell and Pete stayed in contact. Pete went on to college to become a lawyer. And one day, him and Russell presented me with the documents for the registration of the foundation. Pete had done all the work, and the 3 of us served on board. We'll be holding our 7th annual golf tournament in May of this year. And Parkinson's sufferers are more likely to contract skin cancer than other people. And as you most know, I used to love lying on the beach. Hashem came along and said, no, that can't be. So he gave us grandchildren. And so the weekends you won't find me on the beach anymore. And I'm playing with grandchildren inside a house. And I'm absolutely blessed to be able to have the time to spend with my children and grandchildren, because if I was working, there's no way I could give the time that I'm giving now and get the gratification that I have now. I'm thankful and appreciate that the best things in life are free. A walk on the beach, or really anywhere, especially at sunrise and sunset. It's an absolute privilege. I sing in the San Diego Jewish Men's Choir. During the last 2 years, we've cut 2 CDs and almost finishing recording the 3rd. After this, we're going to a practice. There's 3 of us here, I think. And this weekend, we'll be recording our final tracks. I keep busy by helping people select vehicles, as I say, and I kept 3 of my overseas customers. I have more time to walk behind a white ball and try to hit it. Some people call this golf. I've been blessed to be at the weddings of our 3 children. I'm thankful that I can meet friends for lunch. I'm pleased that I can recall the names of my grandchildren, and I'm thankful that I'm able to hold them. I hope this will continue for a long time to come. I can sing a Haftarah when nobody else is available to do it. This is as a result of a step I took down this path that I tell you. The stones that we walk on, we don't know where we're going to. When I was 12 years old, I had an opportunity to learn a Haftarah for Yom Kippur. I had not had a Bar Mitzvah yet. I'm not going to go into the details, but if you're happy, if you want to hear about it, I'll discuss it afterwards. But All the things that we do and learn as we go along, we have no idea that someday it will be worthwhile. Somebody who we've met will have a reason to be in our life. I strongly believe that. I'm involved in a research project with the National Institute of Health in Washington. They actually have a piece of my skin. They were so happy to get there. And they're doing stem cell research with that. I made them promise not to clone me. One of them was enough. But who knows what they're going to be able to implant in me and other people in a few years from now. Again, there was a link in that through my nephew, my brother, Wayne, and I got into that program. The future looks bright. Doctors and researchers are working with exciting programs on finding a cure. I believe that they've identified a gene that is going to be able to tell people that they can or can't maybe be getting the illness or be a possible candidate for the illness. Deep brain surgery has come a long way, and we're seeing the experimental use of sonar wave like an ultrasound that bombards the area of the brain that needs to be cured. Researchers at the Technikon in Israel and the university working here with the University of Virginia are getting this kind of ready for the FDA to approve. It might be another few years, but what they do is a 45-second shot of sonar waves into a tiny part of the brain. It takes them hours to set up that halo above the head and aim for a specific spot. 45 seconds, you're done. You get up, you get on your bicycle, you ride home. There's no surgery, there's no anesthetic, nothing. Please God that it'll be proved to be successful, it will be fantastic. Let me conclude by saying that in every one of us is a hero inside. This book, written by, calls himself a mystic, a family member, a child at the time, believed that in everybody there's a hero inside, and there truly is. And let us enjoy each moment that we can. Let's look for the good things in life. Life changes in the blink of an eye. My wish for all of us is that we cultivate the faith, like Nachshon ben Amidav did. And that each blink of our eyes will bring us joy.